Hello everyone and welcome! League of Legends has its lore all over the place, and because the game balances every champion to be equal, we don't really get the true sense of power. So we are going to go through the top 5 most powerful champions according to the lore. I'm sorry to disappoint those that came here to see some most overpowered champions, but this has nothing to do with balancing. This is all about lore. I should also note that this is not going to be some short version of the stories. I will give you as much detail as I can, so without further ado, let's start with number 5. After the Rune Wars, it was no secret that magic was scattered all around the world of Runeterra. This meant that magic began to have many different forms as different cultures started using it. Major cities usually had universities that would teach young mages how to wield magic. But there was a student that wasn't quite interested in this type of magic. After all, the universities censored some of the spells to prevent major harm. So, this student decided to travel around to Runeterra looking for raw and wild magics. He met many different mages that taught him how to use arcane powers, but he also met witches and shamans that taught him shamanistic rituals. But one day his travels brought him to an ancient form of spellcraft, known as Thorn Magic. This art requires the wielder to tattoo spells on his body, permanently infusing him with arcane powers. This finally fulfilled his need to bond with the energies of Runeterra, but he didn't know this wasn't the end. His travels also led him to uncover a giant indestructible scroll with spells so powerful even he doesn't want to use them. So now, a young student that traveled the world mastering both arcane and lightning, capable of fast regeneration, manipulating the elements, able to commune with the spirits and the land itself, losing the mortality to become the most powerful mage in the universe. He became the protector of the key of destruction of this world. Of course, this is the story of Rise.
Take this scroll and stick it somewhere safe.
As you can see, magic is extremely powerful tool in Runeterra. For that reason, you should expect a lot of mages on this list. Our next candidate comes from the Nordic wastes of Runeterra. Everything started in the ancient Freljord before the fall of Shurima. At the time, Freljord was ruled by 3 sisters: Avarosa, Sorilda and Lysandra. Back then, the Frozen Watchers lived. No one knew where they came from, but everyone kneeled before them. The Watchers offered them gifts, magic, immortality. They even gave their servants a name, Iceborne. In return, all they wanted was their fortress, empire and their loyalty. Avarosa knew something wasn't right. Her people turned into slaves, so she started a rebellion. Shortly after that, Avarosa and her Iceborne horde defeated the Watchers and those that stayed loyal in Howling Abyss. Avarosa then froze Greyor so that his spirit would be prepared to sound the horn if Watchers returned. But even after the defeat of the Watchers, Lysandra still infused with their powers, she stayed loyal. You see, she was clever. She knew that because people defeated the Watchers once already, they would be able to do it again. And so she killed every living being that knew something about the Watchers. Soon, the Watchers were only a myth. But she knew that she would need a new army of servants. The immortal powers that the Watchers gave her allowed her to take the body and mind of a dead person. So she murdered the queen of the Frostguard's tribe and claimed her throne. For generations, she would fake her own death and then take on the next queen so that she wouldn't rise a suspicion. After many generations, while she was under the name of Prince Mauvalet, she named her daughter Lysandra. And so when she claimed her body, she claimed her original name as well. With the powers to use unbreakable ice as a weapon, being practically immortal, Lysandra awaits the return of the Frozen Watchers. Our next hero has a shrouded past. We don't know much about him. We don't know much about where he came from, or what is his purpose. Some call him legend, warrior saver, a god. The others won't live to tell the tale. He is one of only 5 remaining of an ancient race called the Darkin. Only 3 of those 5 are known to history. From those 3, we know one name, Aatrox. The Darkins have been part of the history since the very beginning of time. One of the earliest tales we know of tells a story about 2 factions, the Protectorate using the Stag crest and the Magelords using the Owl crest. The magic used for their battles destroyed lands, wiped out life, and ultimately opened a rift that drawn in a creature called Baron. You see, this battle took place on the Summoner's Rift. The Stags and the Owls are the 2 sides that we fight for. Over time, the Magelords won a series of crushing victories. They were about to wipe out the Men of Protectorate. The tired Men of Protectorate stood ready to make their last stand. As all hope seemed lost, Aatrox appeared among them. With a few words, he inspired them to fight to their last breath, as he threw himself into the battle. At first, the Men of Protectorate could only watch Aatrox as he cleaved through their enemies. Shortly after, they followed Aatrox into the battle, each fighting with the furious strength of 10, until they had won a most unlikely victory. Shortly after the battle, Aatrox vanished. The Darkins changed the course of history by joining important battles and disappearing again. But even if they disappear, the bloodlust in those warriors will not. Tryndamere is an example. He was also near death before Aatrox appeared to save his life. It seemed like the Darkins don't care about why the wars are happening. All they care about is the body count after it. Each death on the battlefield empowers them and their blades, and makes them more powerful. We have proofs of the Darkins joining battles in Demacia, Noxus, Bilgewater, Ionia, Shurima, Freljord, and probably many more. It almost seems like the Darkins are preparing for a much bigger enemy.
Even those who have nothing can give their lives.
Our next story takes us to the heart of Shurima about 1000 years ago. Here, a young Prince Azir is being prepared to become an emperor. One day, during his travels around Shurima, he got caught in a quicksand. Just as he thought that this was his end, a slave of his age pulled him out. For saving his life, Azir promised this boy freedom. Over time, they became good friends. Azir became emperor, and his friend educated himself and became his advisor. But he was never free. Shurima was at its peak. The world has never seen more powerful empire. But Azir's advisor told him that he could make his empire even greater. He told him about an ancient ritual called the Ascension. This would give Azir the powers of a god. But he never told him that this ritual should be done only when the empire is in danger. So Azir agreed. He wanted to protect his empire, so he prepared himself to be ascended. When the day of ascension came, every citizen of Shurima was cheering because their glorious emperor would protect them all. Everything was prepared. All Azir had to do was to step up and claim his powers. But before he did, he spoke to his advisor. He spoke about the love of brothers, the love of friends, of hard fights won and others lost, of family, of future, and finally, of freedom. As Azir turned away from him, the advisor's last words were, "Too late, friend. Too late, brother. Far too late for us all." He shoved Azir to the side as he himself stepped up. Everything happened so quickly that no one had time to react. Azir couldn't believe that he was betrayed by his best friend, Zerath. In a blink of an eye, Zerath was turned into a being of pure arcane energy. The sun disk hovering above the Empire started glowing. A shockwave of energy followed. That day, every mortal being was turned into dust. With his new powers, Zerath had freed them all, not only from slavery, but also from their lives. The two legendary protectors of Shurima, Nasus and Renekton, arrived. They saw what happened and they locked Zerath in a chain prison. Zerath easily ripped those chains in pieces, so they decided to lock him in the tombs beneath the city. Renekton told Nasus to lock him inside with Zerath so that he would be his jailer. But after some time, Zerath corrupted Renekton and he became mad.
This time, Azir, I will need no surprise to topple you.
Only one being is stronger than Zerath, the one who created the ritual of ascension, Nasus. He and his brother, who is now twisted beyond insanity, are the two ascended heroes of Shurima's legend. Nasus can turn living beings into dust, take their souls, or give them eternal youth. In his time, he was called a demigod. From the very beginning of Shurima's society to this day, Nasus protects Shurima from all evil.
There is such potential in one mortal life. You have wasted yours.
I hope you enjoy this list that I put together. It's been a lot of work, but I enjoyed every bit of it. Feel free to tell me who do you think is more powerful than we might think. Before I end this video, I really want to thank Thomas and Michael for their donations. I don't want to say your last names in case you don't want me to, but I did read your messages and I really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for your support. As a reminder, I opened donations so that I could buy a new microphone. I am not going to use the money on anything else. So thank you very much for coming here. Leave a like down below because every single green like means a lot to me. And as always, thank you for watching and thank you come again. Wow, my throat hurts. This took me almost an hour to just sit here and record this. I guess you can feel how at the beginning I was very cheerful and at the end I was nearly dead. But yeah, my throat really hurts right now, so I'm going to drink a lot. But thank you very much for watching, everyone. And if you click the like down below, you have my eternal thanks. If I could bow down before you, I would do so. And I know that there's going to be one more lore video that I have in my mind, but after Gangplank is revived... Oh, hey, oh wait, also, I wanna say that I called it out. I totally called it in my lore video that they should make the lore to affect the actual characters in game, and they did. Gangplank actually lost his hand and he actually got a skin. I totally called it out and you should look it up in my lore video. I guess that's it for this. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Boop.